Hey everyone, welcome back to Poplar Preparedness. I want to bring you up to date on some of the news that's leaking out about the bird flu that's going around. Unfortunately, I have to say leaking out because nobody's compiling this data and actually releasing it to the public. Though you can be sure countries are compiling the data. We're seeing outbreaks of bird flu in places like India, we're seeing it in the Philippines, we're seeing it across Europe, we're seeing it across the United States, we're seeing it across UK, which is in Europe of course, and then the problem is that nobody wants to report on it. And so what they're doing is they're going in, they're culling millions and millions of birds, but then they're just not telling anyone. The countries themselves are, I'm sure, tracking it in order to squelch the bird flu. But the thing is, we're talking about tens of millions of birds last year, and we're already looking at probably tens of millions of birds so far this year, if not more than that. The problem is it's very little information is coming out to us civilians, so to speak. So I want to let you know some of the information that has squeaked out through the censors and such like that, because they don't want you to panic. But you can see when you look at the prices of chicken going up radically, the price of eggs going up, that is giving you an indication that there are supply issues and birds are disappearing from both your shelves and from the farms. Let's look at what we do know for sure, is that currently bird flu has been detected in 20 states in the United States. So far this year, as best I can confirm, one article was saying that over 3 million birds have been culled so far this year in the United States. Iowa just started culling 900,000 birds, and that has happened in the last couple days, and that has happened after the 3 million figure. Are there other states that are doing the same thing right now? I don't know, but we're looking at least 4 million birds being culled in the United States so far this year. We're not even talking about what happened last year. When we head over to Europe, UK is reporting a little bit, but they just keep dribbling out 30,000 here, 45,000 there. It's just ridiculously difficult to try to figure out through the BBC what exactly is going on with the birds. I don't have the time nor the energy to go through all of those reports and try adding them up. But suffice to say that you're probably looking, I'm going to guess, somewhere in the million plus birds have been culled in the UK. There is an outbreak that has just been detected in the center of the bird raising area in Netherlands, and they are looking at the potential of millions of birds being affected in that one outbreak in the Netherlands. They are testing farms, many farms in the near area, and those are big farms. France has been particularly hard hit. They have culled 4 million birds so far this year, and then they've just announced they're going to cull another 2.5 million. They raise a lot of ducks for their foie gras and other stuff, but we're looking at at least 6.5 million birds being culled in France through today-ish. 20 countries are affected, have had positive cases of bird flu in Europe. That's a big deal. We've heard massive amounts of birds being culled in India as well as Israel, and then you got the Philippines, but we don't know numbers on those areas. We're seeing massive numbers of birds being culled across the world, not to mention the birds that are actually just dying outright. So what does this all mean? Now, there are a lot of birds, okay? When we talk about millions and millions of chickens and such like that, we're talking an industry that produces billions, okay? Billions of birds, particularly when we're talking about meat birds. That can be done relatively easily. The problem is when we start talking about laying hens and hens that are being used to hatch new chicks for meat birds in production, when those birds start getting hit, that can have a lot of downstream effect that really can impact the market significantly. Obviously, we're having huge issues with farmers having bad crops out there. We're having huge issues in Eastern Europe with 25% of the world's exports of grain going offline. We have other countries that are one by one banning the exports of foodstuffs from their countries, and that's not talking about meat. But when we look at meat, chicken's the most popular meat out there, and it's being consumed a lot, and a lot of the supply is being impacted, and you're seeing that on your store shelves with chickens becoming shorter and shorter in supply, as well as you're seeing hiccups in the egg production, right? And we're looking through and we're picking up little clues of what's going on there, because the people that are better than you and I, who know better than you and I, and don't want you and I to panic, are hiding that information from us. And if you have information, you can make decisions. What's the difference between a high-risk decision and a low-risk decision? It's information, right? And that information is being withheld on us on many fronts. But when we start talking about prices in the markets, that's where you can really see the truth coming out. And the prices are going up, which is concerning. And there is stuff going on in the background. This has potential to explode. Last time we had bird flu in the United States, 50 million birds were culled. 4 million so far this year, at least. And we had millions and millions last year as well. So we are, all it takes is just for that to hit some really big farms, and those numbers just go through the roof. We're still not seeing major cases in Minnesota, which culled 9 million of those birds last time around. They're trying to keep it out of there. They're trying to keep it out of Georgia still, because there's a lot of birds down there. But it's moving through the wild flocks and wild birds out there, and it seems like it's only a matter of time before it hits one of these farms. I know some of you are out there saying that this doesn't exist, this isn't a real thing. I have to ask then, why are they suppressing the information? Why are they reporting less on these cullings than they did back in 2014, 2015? And I would suggest that they are underreporting and they are suppressing information rather than actually pushing false information on this one. So, all right, make intelligent choices based on the information. I do continue to push the idea of getting canned chicken, but I think the prices are great. Walmart is still selling those 12 packs out there of canned chicken. If you can tolerate that stuff, it is going to last for a very long time, and the prices are still very reasonable for that, cheaper than canning your own chicken when you factor in your time and jars and such like that. All right, God bless you all, and I'll see you again here 6 a.m. tomorrow.